Alright, I've decided to move New Rod, so we will EVA him in a second, but first we need to move Mooney. So we're gonna EVA Mooney. There's like a mod that allows you to switch these guys really easily, but we aren't using it, so we're gonna do this manually. Alright, so we're gonna zoom on down, and you may ask, well, what's the point of docking then, if you were just gonna, because, you know, tests, and because we freaking backed in our shuttle, which is very nice to be able to do. Okay, now quickly switch back over. Go all the way to New Rod, who's now gonna EVA. He's just gonna let go. He's gonna turn on his pack. And kind of level him out. Now we could switch back to him, who can now float on over. They're like high five midair, you know how it is. Go down, board. Now we can switch back to him. And it's probably worth it to do like a quick inspection before we go in. Because I did want to also mention this little line thing, like on the wings, while not intentional, I think is really freaking rad. I totally went the wrong direction. Let me go back down. I think it's really rad looking. And it may serve some, you know, aerodynamic purposes in the fact that when we're re-entering, it gives, you know, a channel of the air to go by, so that way it removes the heat in an efficient manner. Think about that. All right, let's float on over. Did I ever put fuel on this? I don't think I did, which is, it's okay if I didn't, and I kind of expect it as well to not necessarily want to refuel anyway. So let's go ahead and, am I on the right one? I need to go in here, right? Board, yeah. Okay, so now that we got that, I just want to check. Yeah, no fuel. I'm fine with that. We do have all the scientific stuff, but a lot of these science experiments, either we've already done or are currently ongoing with the Nimoy. So we're just going to leave it here. It's going to continue to do its thing. And it's actually time for our crew to return back to Kerbal. So we need to undock. We want to switch down. We need our SAS and our RCS on. And was it I? No, K is that way. So let's go back this way. It had to have been U. No. H. Y. It was Y. Was it Y? Because H goes that way. N? Oh, it was H. Oh, okay. We figured it out eventually. RCS, everybody. Okay, and let's do that. Now we can flip ourselves around. We're slowly getting away from the Nimoy, as our frame rate totally tanks due to the amount of parts that are available between all this. It is worth noting that the oh, I need to point retrograde, not prograde. They're just having a spin. They're showing Mooney the ropes, because Mooney hasn't ever seen the new, you know, test shuttle. This is the first time he's ever been in it. It's the first time anyone in the crew of the Nimoy, have ever seen this thing. So they were very excited for it to show up. All right, let's slow ourselves down a bit, just so we can get completely away from our satellite. There we go. And I want to bring in, actually, let's point us the right direction. I want to bring in this a little bit as we say goodbye to the Nimoy. It was nice knowing you guys. All right, we're going to bring this down to about, what's this at? Because I don't want to be in its range. It's like over 100. So if we get down to like 100, I think that would be ideal. It would slow it down enough. So let's do that. We're getting pretty low on fuel. So we'll get down under or to 100 meters. Then we'll circularize. We'll go around the other side. We'll circularize. And then we want to come down as close to this the station as possible. Or not the station, but the space center as possible. Because I do want to try a runway landing. It's not necessarily designed, like I've said, it's not designed to do that, but I do feel like it's something that we could certainly try and attempt, especially if we're going at a slow enough speed, because we still have the parachutes, right? Like the parachutes are our saving grace here. Yeah, we want to point prograde because then that will be retrograde. Anyways, the Aurora, it's nice to know, has, and we've gained a little bit of frames per second back from moving away from the Nimoy, but the Aurora itself has very few parts to it, actually. It is fairly tiny in comparison to the, the amount of parts that are on the Thor almost equal the amount of parts that are on the Aurora. So the lag should be pretty minimal. I planned for that, which is why I designed the Aurora the way I did, especially knowing that there wouldn't be just one, but at oftentimes two of these shuttles docked within it. Let's get our other part of our orbit down. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm getting my altitude. Obviously, I'm circularizing it, my orbit. But the reason I'm doing that, and the reason I'm getting my altitude low, is because that lowers my descent speed. So the speed that I come in at to Kerbal will be much slower than if I did, say, that ballistic re-entry that we did, a little while back, where we came back in with the first variation of the Thor. It's important to, at least for me, I think, to keep that velocity low if I'm going to try a runway landing. All right, this is fairly close. I don't want that to go much lower, so I think that will do. We need to figure out where the space center is. I think it's like right off here? Is that where the space center's at? Yeah, I could kind of see it through those clouds there. So what we need to do is set up a maneuver node, probably about right here, where we slow our speed down. It's getting pretty good. That's at 17,000. That might be overshooting a bit, so we'll slow down a little bit more. See, now, while that looks like I'm right on, we have to keep in mind that the planet itself is rotating, so it wouldn't necessarily be right on. So let's go ahead and get to the node, and then we'll kind of determine where the space center is at. Sorry, I'm trying to focus here. See, notice how our thing is now moving in comparison. So we'll also be coming in at night, which isn't ideal. I could wait a couple rounds, but, I think these guys have been away long enough that they'll probably want to come home, so we'll just take this. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's actually just go ahead and remove this again, and we want it over here. And then we'll slow down again. Keeping in mind that the Space Center is close to about right there, right? So with the continual rotation of the planet, that might be really good. All right. I think we should plan for that, and if we misjudge it, then we've misjudged it, and we simply go and land like we have the past two times. I don't see necessarily a need to have to runway land it. There is one that we'll test, and that is the Loki. We need to make sure that the Loki can actually land in an atmosphere. Then again, we'll also have the parachutes, so it can kind of do both, right? Landing on another planet with an atmosphere, and trying a runway landing is gonna be kind of difficult considering none of these planets really have flat enough terrain to do this. So you gotta kind of think of it like these like old prop planes that would land on these dirt runways and stuff during like World War II. It would be very difficult. It needs to be flat enough, but at the same time, I think we can find places like that. Maybe not on Duna. Duna would be... you would have to land in a very specific spot for that, but I'm sure Eve has some places, like near the coast, that you're able to do that on, so we could plan for that, certainly. Okay, where are we at? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Just a little bit more. That should be good. All right, we need to get out of the map, and most of our weight is now at the back, right? That's a fact of the matter here, and I'm not too concerned with that, but I do want to, oh gosh, wrong one. I need to do that one and that one. So I'm just gonna dump the rest of my fuel into the front tank, which will help offset it a bit. I mean, we have 219 units of fuel left. That's not too bad. All right, how are we coming in here? I think I need to reorient this. And maybe, wait, hold on. Maybe not. No, let's get my RCS on because I'm totally not slowing down enough for that. There. I think I'm facing the wrong direction. Yeah, I gotta, okay, so I'm gonna come in upside down, right? Not like into the atmosphere upside down, but just I need to be like, whoops, gosh, I keep rotating the wrong way. I gotta, am I controlling from the top? Control from here. It felt like it wasn't. It felt like the rotation was really wonky. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. It's a little trick. I'm going to upside down a little bit, right? Because I think it's like right. No, okay, I have to be facing this way. That's right. So I gotta face this way and almost down-ish, maybe a little further down based on my current position in our orbit. And we'll go ahead and quick save, and I think that will then level me out as we come back in. Yeah, it's pretty close actually. 60, yeah, so let's bring it up a little bit. Now, where are we coming in at? Not where we want to, actually. Because I'm gonna, oh gosh, I'm like way off here. I should have thought about that. Instead of just slowing my orbit down, like instead of going retrograde, I should have done, you know, either one of these other ones. Like I could have done this, right? Except the opposite way. So that way I could have been higher above the center. So it doesn't look like we're gonna be able to do an actual runway landing, but you know, we get to test coming in with basically no fuel, so that's good, right? All right, so we had what? We had 1, 2, and 3, so we want to turn 2 off. So 3 is our landing. No, 3's the front. 4 is our landing. 5 is our air brakes. There we go. Okay. And now the descent begins. The typical but kind of uncertain descent on this one. Because what we got to keep in mind, again, is the fact that our fuel is completely unbalanced. We have a rogue object on the top that we're bringing back from the space station up there, so that may cause some aerodynamic unstableness. Like, I don't know, because I've never just thrown a broken object on the top of my shuttle before. For it being the first mission that this thing is coming back with, it's certainly an important one if you think about it. Like, the first mission alone, they are bringing back someone from the space station, from in particular the KSS Leonard Nimoy, but then we're bringing back debris from another space station, but technically a telescope. All this is very important. And I'm getting a little bit of wing slip coming back in. Okay, I'm gonna try to keep this thing under control. I don't think I've ever flown this with no fuel coming back in. despite the fact that we used a lot of our fuel the last mission. I don't think it was this, like the little. I thought we had a lot more than this, so I should be a lot more unbalanced. That does look pretty flat over there. Ooh, where do my landing gears sit even? Wait, hey. There we go. For a second, I was a little worried. It sits pretty far back. So imagine this is the ground right here. Like, you really are asking a lot. Okay, that's affecting my aerodynamics. That's really asking a lot of the angle of attack. You'd have to be coming in slow enough that you're not necessarily gonna have to like you would, oh gosh, it's kind of hard to explain. You would come in with a weird angle, not like a typical aircraft that's like flaring before it hits the ground to, you know, slow itself down. But it would, oh yeah, see, the aerodynamics are being affected by that. You can see because it's being heated up. By the way, 1.0 apparently has actually heat damage and re-entry effects. So that'll be fun to try this thing out for. But, you know, that's what that little stroke is there. That little tiny line. I'm telling you, it's going to help our re-entry a lot. Although this is brilliant. Once again, this thing is coming in perfectly. I've rarely ever had an issue with this. But, you know, there's always a first time for everything. And I have a feeling that, because I'm just holding S on the keyboard right now, and I'm not pulling up. So either my weight distribution is that bad, or I'm being affected aerodynamically. Now, what if I turned off those? Am I going to... So funny that my air brakes, because they're on the back and they're creating drag on the back of my aircraft. Oh, I'm getting a little unstable here. Because it's creating drag on the back of my aircraft, it's actually helping my aircraft keep its nose up. Was that intentional in design? No. Is it rad? Heck yes. I'm glad that that's a thing. Okay, so now that we did that, we close these. And we are, in fact, going to attempt to land a bit on the ground here. It might be a little bumpy, so I'm prepared to use my parachutes at any given time. They should be able to slow us down more than enough, but it's one of those, I'm gonna have to make the decision above 500 meters, and I am not necessarily sure. I mean, we're slowing down quite a bit, but I could pull up my, nose a bit, right? And coming in, we just need to make sure we use our parachutes at the right time if we're gonna have to abort, but our air brakes will also certainly help. I mean, this thing has a lot of drag. It slows us down quite a bit. It's like a falling toolbox, as I've described it before. Ooh, this seems a little precarious. If we put these on, and give us a little bit of extra control, we may be able to actually start flying here. Because we're not really flying, we're just kind of falling. And I don't even think we have enough thrust with these engines to create enough speed to lift, but I don't think we necessarily need enough. We just need barely enough to keep us from just going straight up and down. And that's currently what's happening here. Yeah, dip my nose a bit more. Still plenty of fuel left. I could have hit my first engines, but... Okay, so I am picking up speed now that I was facing down. I'm getting weird amounts of drag. As you can see, it's pulling to one side. So let's go ahead and turn those off. And we are coming in. I have my gears down. Yes, I see them. I mean, we're coming in kind of fast, but not any faster than, you know, our aircraft normally do. All right, so let's go ahead and pull up, pull up, pull up. It's not pulling up. All right, abort, abort. That was that was a little clenching, you know what I mean? That was a bit of a clench. And we're gonna bounce here. Pretty hard. Ooh. Oh, our docking port. It fell off. Oh dear. Well, we'll just leave that there. Okay. Recover vessel. I'm sure Mooney's happy to be home. Even though it was a little dangerous coming back in. We bounced pretty hard. We gained 112 science from that, from recovering some experiments, which is nice. We're well above the amount that we need to launch the Aurora. Things are looking actually pretty good here, if you don't mind me saying. Now let's go back up into orbit, and we need to get a couple of these done. So which one's closer? I think the Rumbler only has 99 days left, so yeah, we could do that. Yeah, let's go ahead and go to our second rover. We want to enter the atmosphere here. Wow, what just happened? Did the game just freak out? It's freaking out on me.